for Ancient Rome Live. Today I'm here in Palazzo Massimo, which is right by Termini train station. And it's part of Museo Nazionale Romano, which offers you on multiple stories in this gigantic palazzo the history of Rome from late Republic times all the way to late antiquity. You have an incredible assembly of statuary, of reliefs, of frescoes, recomposed for you, as well as so many mosaics. It is an amazing collection. Let's go and explore. Here we have a very famous depiction of the Emperor Augustus. He has his toga partially pulled over his head in reverence, in piety. He's making a sacrifice. He becomes the Pontifex Maximus in 12 BC. So this piece found in the Via Labicana in Rome is dated to around that time and is a depiction of Augustus in his later years. The Fasti Praenestini. This is the best preserved and most detailed calendar we have from the ancient world. It's here in Palazzo Massimo, created by various Flaccus in the age of Augustus, around 6 to 10 AD. This was set in public display in the city of Praeneste, showing the calendar after the reforms by Julius Caesar. Palazzo Massimo has two bronze statues. They're both found on the Quirinal Hill at the end of the 19th century. They're both extraordinary examples of bronze works preserved from antiquity. The so-called Hellenistic prince dates to about the 1st century BC, and he is in repose with one hand behind his back, like we see frequently the god Hercules in repose after his labors. When we look closely at his face, we see that we have incised a light beard, which is actually more typical of a Roman general. In fact, if this were a Hellenistic prince, there would be some sort of diadem. Creations from the Greek world, in particular the Lysippan model, Lysippus being the artist creating revolutionary poses and statuary for Alexander the Great.
Il Pugilatore è sicuramente una delle opere più eccezionali che è all'interno del Museo di Palazzo Massimo. È un'opera straordinaria perché è stata realizzata in bronzo e di bronzi dell'antichità ne sono arrivati pochissimi, proprio perché nel corso del tempo, essendo un materiale così prezioso, veniva riutilizzato e quindi le statue erano rifuse. Il sospetto quindi che si sta approfondendo è che in realtà queste due opere siano state trovate in un altro luogo di Roma e seppellite ad arte sul Quirinale, probabilmente perché non potevano essere vendute nel mercato antiquario. L'altro elemento che ci porta a escludere il rinvenimento originale all'interno del Quirinale è che questa statua è stata trovata sepolta a 4 metri di profondità dentro le fondazioni di un tempio. Quindi, secondo quella che era la versione che alla fine del mondo antico, nel IV secolo, per l'arrivo dei barbari, vennero messe in sicurezza queste statue sepolte, è nuovamente impossibile perché non si può fare un tunnel a 4 metri di profondità, specialmente in un periodo in cui con le invasioni doveva essere invece un semmai seppellimento veloce o trovare un nascondiglio che comunque doveva essere fatto in poco tempo. Per cui è molto importante questo lavoro che il Museo Nazionale sta facendo su ritrovare dei documenti che possano fare luce anche sul luogo del rinvenimento.
We see his face disfigured from the boxing competitions. He's got a swollen right eye. He's got his ears that are cauliflowered. He's bleeding on his shoulder. He's bleeding on his face, inlaid with copper to highlight the bleeding. Is he the victor? Is he the defeated? We have so many stories, so many questions that we ask as we walk around the Boxster still today. This large room is dedicated to the imperial villa residences. From Hadrian's villa, here you have extraordinary crouching Aphrodites in a bath setting in the Villa of Hadrian by Tivoli. And then you have so many pieces from the seaside villa resort in Anzio, an extraordinary collection of choice pieces. This bronze statue of Dionysus, Liber, god of wine, was literally fished out of the Tiber River during the construction of a bridge at the end of the 19th century. Byron's Discobolus of about 450 BC, a famous work of art from the Greek world, made in bronze, is lost. But we have so many replicas of them, this is probably the best one. From the Esquiline Hill, it dates to the 2nd century AD, but it captures the aesthetic and what Myron was able to achieve in his time. We have this classical rendering of the body in motion in all its perfection. There's a great collection of mosaics in the Palazzo Massimo, and what you have here on the walls were originally on the floor, and some choice examples of pieces that are from villas and residences from all over Rome and outside of Rome that date from the 1st century BC into the 2nd, 3rd, even 4th century AD. This extraordinary subterranean space is part of the Villa of Livia in Prima Porta. And these frescoes date to about 30 to 20 BC. It's a subterranean chamber, an extraordinary experience to keep you nice and cool, at the same time being surrounded by nature. You can walk through corridors, you can walk through these spaces, and take yourself back to the end of the 1st century BC Rome.